all over at Emirates Stadium. It's finished Arsenal 1, PSV Eindhoven 0. We had to work for it in the end. We really struggled to find that opening goal for a long time. It looked like at points it maybe wasn't coming. It looked like it wasn't going to be our night. Some of the build-up play was pretty. Some of the build-up play was good to watch. Some good movement, slick passing. Gabriel Jesus looked lively and sharp without finding the back of the net. And it was Granit Xhaka, of all people, to step up in that advanced role that he's been playing all season and add yet another goal to his tally. Brilliant finish on his weaker right foot from the edge of the penalty area. Rifled it past the diving goalkeeper and gave Arsenal a vital 3 points, because the Gunners now are 5 points clear of PSV Eindhoven at the top of this group, which means a single point would mean that we win the group. A single point in Eindhoven would do it mathematically. But there were question marks going into this game. How weak do you go? How much rotation do you use? How many players do you change? And it was always clear to me, I think, that Mikel Arteta was going to try and find that balance, as he has done on every occasion in this group so far. And I was talking about it on the podcast yesterday. We were talking about the front line, the front three. Who did you go with? You don't really want to play Saka. You really didn't want to play Martinelli, given that he's been ill this week, under the weather, wasn't in training yesterday. You didn't want to play Gabriel Jesus. You want to wrap all of those guys up in cotton wool. And with Emile Smith-Rowe currently out injured, you wondered if a front three, for example, of Nelson and Nketiah and Marquinhos would be good enough. And having thought about it at length, I came to the conclusion that it certainly wouldn't have been. And it seems that Mikel Arteta thought the same. He went strong. I'm sure he'd have liked to have put the game to bed early doors and have been able to take some of those players off and give them a breather and leave some extra minutes in the tank for the weekend. But it wasn't to be. We needed them in the end, and we got there. Made a couple of substitutions as well that maybe surprised people. Martin Odegaard came on. I thought that was needed. We needed that spark. Fabio Vieira wasn't great tonight, I have to be honest. Showed flashes of his technical quality and brilliance, but wasn't dominating the game or dictating the play in the way you'd have liked. But the one that was a little bit baffling was bringing on Thomas Partey, just because we weren't being overrun in the midfield. I didn't think Sambi had a good game, and I want to talk about him at length on the podcast, because he's been speaking about a lack of minutes, a lack of opportunities, but is he taking those opportunities when they do come his way? We'll get into all of that later on tonight on the live edition of the podcast. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure you hit a like on the video. We're top of the group, we're 5 points clear of PSV. We're in a great position both domestically and in European competition, and now all the attention turns to that trip to Southampton at the weekend. Can we continue our run in the Premier League? Just like at Leeds, we weren't at our best tonight, but we found a way to win. We were certainly better tonight than we were against Leeds, but we still found a way to win when we weren't at fifth gear. So yeah, good signs, obviously. Great turnout as well, considering the kick-off time, considering that the Europa League is not something that everybody's particularly enthused about. But, as I say, great attendance. The Ashburton Army were in great voice. Credit to the PSV fans as well, who came here and made a decent atmosphere. You can just see them in the corner. They're still here, making plenty of noise. Cheers for tuning in. Catch you all later with the full-length podcast. Until then, see ya.